Right now, without thinking about it, you are being held, not by a chair, not by a floor, by something so constant, so permanent in your experience of being alive, that your brain long ago stopped registering it as remarkable. The warmth on your skin when you step outside, the light that tells your body when to sleep and when to wake, the energy locked inside every cell of every living thing on this planet. It comes from a single source, 93 million miles away. And here is the thing most people never fully sit with. The light hitting your face right now left the sun 8 minutes ago. It has been traveling at 671 million miles per hour, the absolute speed limit of the universe, and it still took 8 minutes to reach you. That is not a metaphor. That is the actual, physical gap between you and the star keeping you alive. If the sun vanished this very second, you would not know for 8 minutes. You would still feel warm. You would still see blue sky. And then, the light would simply stop. The warmth would drain. And within weeks, the surface of Earth would plunge below -100 degrees Fahrenheit. But the sun has not vanished. It has been burning for 4.6 billion years longer than the Earth has existed. And every single day of life on this planet has happened inside that 8-minute window. Every dinosaur, every ice age, every human civilization, every morning you have ever woken up to. So what is this thing, exactly? Not the word, not the school diagram, the actual thing. The sun is a ball of plasma, not gas, not liquid, not solid, but a fourth state of matter roughly 865,000 miles in diameter. If you hollowed it out and tried to fill it with Earths, you would need 1.3 million of them. The pressure at its core is 250 billion times greater than the air pressure at sea level on Earth. And at that core, hydrogen atoms are being smashed together so violently that they fuse into helium, and the mass lost in that process becomes pure energy, released as light and heat. This process is called nuclear fusion. It is happening right now, at a rate that releases more energy every second than all the nuclear weapons ever built on Earth, detonated simultaneously, 4 trillion times over. And it has been happening every second for 4.6 billion years. Let that settle. The star you have lived under your entire life, the one that grew your food, powered your weather, shaped your body's internal clock, is a sustained nuclear explosion the size of a small world, close enough to warm your skin, far enough not to kill you. And here is what most people do not know. That star, the one that made all of this possible, has already made a decision. A quiet, permanent, physical decision, built into the math of its own mass and chemistry. Not tomorrow, not soon by any human scale, but certain. The sun is going to die. And we already know, in precise scientific detail, exactly how. To understand what is coming, you first have to understand what the sun actually is right now. Think of it as a war. On one side, gravity. The sun's own mass, 333,000 times greater than Earth's, pulling everything inward toward its core with almost incomprehensible force. If nuclear fusion stopped right now, gravity would collapse the entire sun in on itself in roughly 30 minutes. On the other side, radiation pressure, the outward push of all that energy being released, light and heat fighting against the inward collapse. The sun exists at the exact point where these two forces balance. It has maintained that balance for 4.6 billion years, and it will maintain it for roughly another 5 billion more. 5 billion years sounds infinite, but let's make it feel real. If the entire lifespan of the sun from birth to death were compressed into a single 2-4-hour day, then the first complex life on Earth appeared at around 6 p.m. Dinosaurs went extinct at 11:39 p.m. All of recorded human history, every empire, every invention, every war, every story fits inside the last 0.2 seconds before midnight. We are, in cosmic terms, a newborn species living under a middle-aged star. The sun is roughly halfway through its hydrogen fuel supply. Halfway. And already the math of what happens next is written. Not in prophecy. In physics. Here is how it goes. In about 5 billion years, the hydrogen at the sun's core will run out. The balance tips. Gravity begins to win. The core contracts and heats up. That heat ignites a shell of hydrogen surrounding the core, a new layer of fusion, burning hotter and pushing the outer layers outward. The sun begins to expand, slowly at first. Then, faster. Over hundreds of millions of years, the outer atmosphere of the sun swells outward past Mercury, past Venus. Current models suggest it will expand to somewhere between 100 and 200 times its current size. At that scale, it becomes what astronomers call a red giant cooler on its surface, dimmer in color, but so massive that it will dominate the entire inner solar system. Earth may be engulfed. It depends on the precise expansion rate and how much mass the sun sheds as it grows. What is certain is this: long before the outer layers reach Earth, the increased solar output will have already boiled away the oceans. Earth's surface temperature will exceed 1,000 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere will be stripped away by solar wind. The planet will be a scorched, bare rock. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just quietly made impossible for life. This is the gut punch. Not that it will happen. We can intellectually dismiss 5 billion years as too far to feel. The gut punch is the precision of it. Scientists have already mapped the sun's future in enough detail to describe individual phases. We know there will be a phase called the helium flash, a sudden, violent ignition of helium fusion in the core, releasing more energy in a few minutes than the sun produces in hundreds of thousands of years. We know the red giant phase will last roughly 1 billion years. We know the outer layers will be shed into space as a glowing cloud of gas called a planetary nebula. We know what the sun's corpse will look like. After the outer layers are gone, the core remains. It is no longer fusing. It is no longer generating energy. It is just a dense, hot ball of carbon and oxygen, roughly the size of Earth, a remnant called a white dwarf. Over billions of years, with nothing left to power it, it will slowly cool, dimming, fading, and eventually, after a span of time so long that the current universe is not old enough to contain even one example of it, it will go dark entirely. A black dwarf, cold, silent, invisible. The star that warmed every living thing that ever existed on this planet, reduced to a dark stone drifting through empty space, with no light left to give. But here is what should stop you. None of this is the end of the story, because the story isn't really about the sun dying. It's about what that dying star will leave behind. Step all the way back now. Not just from Earth, not just from the solar system. Step back until the Milky Way is a smear of light. Step back further, until the galaxy is a dot among hundreds of billions of other dots. Each one a galaxy. Each galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars. Each star with its own lifespan, its own eventual collapse. You are looking at a universe that is, in one sense, slowly dying. Not quickly, not catastrophically. But the physics is clear. Stars are the universe's way of converting hydrogen into heavier elements. Every generation of stars fuses lighter atoms into heavier ones. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron. And when those stars die, when they shed their outer layers or explode as supernovae, those elements drift through space and eventually collapse into new stars, new planets, new chemistry. You are made of those elements. The calcium in your bones was forged in the core of a star that died before the sun was born. The iron in your blood came from a stellar explosion billions of years ago. The oxygen you are breathing right now was assembled in a nuclear furnace inside some long-dead star and scattered across the galaxy when that star exhaled its final breath. You are not standing on Earth, looking up at the sunday. You are a product of stars, a temporary arrangement of stellar debris that has become complex enough to ask questions about where it came from. And when the sun finally dies, 5 billion years from now, the atoms that made you, the atoms that make all of this, they do not disappear. They are scattered, recycled, sent back into the interstellar medium, where gravity will eventually pull them into something new. New stars, new planets. Perhaps, somewhere, the conditions for something like life again. The universe is not a place where things simply end. It is a place where things are transformed. The sun's death will not be a loss. Not in the way we instinctively feel it might be. It will be a return. The planet that gave us our first steps will be reclaimed. The star that powered those steps will become a cloud of glowing gas, seeding the galaxy with the same elements that made it possible for you to exist in the first place. This is the fact that is hardest to absorb. The universe was never designed with you in mind. It did not make you on purpose. But the same physical laws that will eventually end this solar system are the exact laws that had to be in place for this solar system to exist at all. The same stellar death cycles that will one day scatter the sun's remains across the galaxy are the cycles that built the Earth beneath your feet. You are an accident of a universe that had no intention of making you. And yet here, you are warm, alive, breathing oxygen that was born in stars, sitting inside an 8-minute window of light from a star that has already decided how this ends. And somehow, against everything, in the vast, indifferent machinery of a universe that has been running for 13.8 billion years and will run for trillions more, something as small and brief as a human being looked up and asked what it was looking at. The sun will burn for another 5 billion years. Use some of them.